Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're covering a really intriguing story that's been making waves, not just in the sports world, but even in the political arena. Former President Donald Trump recently shared some strong opinions on WNBA star rookie Caitlin Clark and her contract, sparking a huge conversation about the value of women's sports and the challenges of closing the pay gap in professional leagues. This story has so many layers, so grab a snack and let's dive deep. To understand why Donald Trump even brought up Caitlin Clark's contract, let's start with who she is and why she's making headlines. Caitlin Clark is an absolute sensation in women's basketball. Known for her incredible shooting skills and her game sense, she was the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. Clark joined the Indiana Fever and has quickly become one of the WNBA's biggest stars, earning accolades like Rookie of the Year and being selected as an All-Star in her very first season. Clark's stats speak for themselves: 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game in her rookie season. She's one of those players that can get fans excited every time she steps on the court. And it's not just about her numbers. Her style and energy have captured a lot of attention, making her one of the most watched players in the league right now. The buzz around her feels similar to what we saw when LeBron James first entered the NBA or, as Trump mentioned, when Tiger Woods turned pro in golf. Now, here's where things get interesting. Recently, during a surprise appearance on the Let's Go podcast hosted by former NFL coach Bill Belichick and sports broadcaster Jim Gray, Donald Trump weighed in on Caitlin Clark's rookie contract, and he had a lot to say. Trump called her rookie contract unfair, pointing out the huge disparity between her earnings and the salaries of NBA rookies. For some context, Clark's rookie deal with the Indiana Fever is worth around $338,000 over 4 years, giving her an annual salary of roughly $76,535. Meanwhile, NBA rookies are making millions right off the bat. This year's first pick, Zachary Rizicher, will reportedly make $10.4 million in his rookie season alone. Even average NBA rookies from the first round earned about $4.22 million annually. The contrast is pretty staggering, and Trump wasn't afraid to call it out. Trump didn't just criticize the contract, he went out of his way to praise Clark, calling her a phenomenon and comparing her talent to major sports icons like Tiger Woods. He said, "It's incredible, by the way. I watched too. I think she's incredible. I watched this shot go in. It's like, couldn't she shoot that way in the NBA?" Now, regardless of where you stand on Trump's politics, his comments on Clark highlight something significant. For a prominent figure like Trump to comment on a WNBA player's salary brings attention to the financial struggles that female athletes face, especially compared to their male counterparts. By speaking up, he's underscoring the fact that Clark is a standout athlete deserving of a more fitting compensation. Let's take a closer look at this pay disparity. Why is it that Caitlin Clark, who's arguably doing as much for the WNBA's visibility as any NBA rookie does for the NBA, is making a fraction of their salary? The WNBA was founded in 1996 and has faced an uphill battle in terms of revenue and visibility. While the league has grown, it still generates far less revenue than the NBA. According to reports, WNBA teams generally operate on smaller budgets, and the league depends on conservative spending to ensure its stability. This financial model restricts the league's ability to pay its players at the same level as NBA athletes, even for top-tier talents like Clark. However, what makes this conversation relevant now is that Clark has already shown she's capable of bringing a fresh wave of excitement to the WNBA. Her impact isn't just about stats. She's bringing new fans, attention, and marketability to the league. This is why some argue that Clark deserves a raise, even if it means rethinking the league's pay structure. During the podcast, Trump suggested a potential solution to what he called an unfair contract. He said, the league could probably go up and give her a bonus. It wouldn't kill the league if the league is doing okay. He emphasized that Caitlin's talent warrants some sort of exception. Trump pointed out that even in other sports, you'll sometimes see exceptional players outperform their contracts early on, whether it's a running back in the NFL or a baseball player in the minor leagues. Trump thinks the WNBA should consider rewarding players who bring this level of value, players who not only contribute on the court but also boost the league's popularity and visibility. Trump's comments tie into a much larger conversation around the gender pay gap in professional sports. This isn't just an issue for the WNBA, it's something we see across women's sports globally. Women athletes have consistently called for fairer compensation, especially when they're top performers. The U.S. women's national soccer team, for instance, famously fought for equal pay, arguing that their achievements deserved compensation on par with the men's team. Now, some argue that pay should strictly follow revenue. The NBA generates billions, while the WNBA operates on a much smaller budget. But there's another perspective. If star players like Caitlin Clark are increasing the league's visibility, doesn't that value deserve recognition, even if it means rethinking traditional pay scales? One argument that's come up is that Clark is still doing well financially, thanks to her endorsement deals. She signed partnerships with major brands like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm. Plus, there's talk that she might join a new basketball league called Unrivaled, which offers equity to players, a game-changing opportunity. But are these endorsements enough? Sure, they add to her income, but for many, that doesn't justify her relatively low base salary in the WNBA, especially when she's such a significant draw for fans. So, what's next? Will the WNBA reconsider its pay structure, especially for players like Clark who bring massive value to the league? Trump's comments have sparked debate, and we're seeing more and more fans and analysts questioning whether the WNBA needs to update its compensation model. Players are already negotiating better terms with the league, so we could see some changes in the coming years. Meanwhile, Clark is focused on her career, and she's likely to secure a big contract extension down the line if she keeps playing at this high level. For now, though, she's undoubtedly grateful for her supporters, including Trump, who've brought attention to her situation. And that wraps it up. What are your thoughts? Should the WNBA rethink its rookie contracts to better reward players like Caitlin Clark, or is the current pay structure justified by the league's budget? Let's get a discussion going in the comments. And if you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more in-depth sports analysis and cultural discussions.